Hey guys, I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you got some drawing in. I hope that you're actually seeing my emails. If you have friends that has me as a teacher, please tell them to read emails if you are reading them. That'd be fantastic for me. Okay, so today's challenge is Night+Lizard. Totally random, but there is a lizard down in Arizona called a Night+Lizard. So that's pretty cool. But I am not doing a Night+Lizard. I'm actually creating a Night+Lizard. So I just started out with my outline of my lizard. I just looked up on Google outline of lizard and a bunch came up and I used it as a reference. So I drew this out, sketched it up super fast. And then I used pencil to go ahead and draw that on some watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is best. You can get some at Walmart for pretty cheap. You can get a pack of them for probably like $4. It also comes in sheets. Those are a little bit more expensive. You might as well just get the pack. The brush I'm using, the brush was like an $18 brush. You do not have to have that fancy of a brush. You can order one off Amazon. You can also order watercolor paper off Amazon for super cheap, which you should probably do because you guys are supposed to be quarantined. So you can order it from Amazon. Any watercolor brush that is probably for sale on Amazon is just fine. Mine's a 6 round. I think it's called a Summit brush, a Summit watercolor brush. So it's just a really nice brush. I've had it forever. Anyway, so today I'm obviously using watercolor and I am doing what's called a wet on wet paint drop. So what I'm doing is I covered the whole lizard in wet water. Wet water, what am I? Who am I? Obviously water's wet. So anyway, you're covering in just regular tap water. and then I'm not going to let it dry out like I do on wet process usually. And now I'm going in with just a lot of saturated watercolor pigment. I just loaded up on my brush and I try to get it as condensed as possible so it's not just like really watery colors. And I'm just adding different colors to those darker colors. It helps blend a ton. You can see here I'm blending purple with that blue, but I want it to be kind of a darker blue, so I'm just going in with some more. If you would like your blues to be darker, you add just a tiny bit of orange and purple and it turns into a really nice blue. This purple is really dark also. I added a little bit of orange to that as well. I'm just going in super light right now with this purple color I have, just to get the hand a little bit more wet so I can add watercolor to it, to the fingers of this lizard. So I'm going to keep doing that process throughout the whole lizard. And I'm switching colors. I'm kind of creating a galaxy lizard. Not so much a Night+Lizard. I kind of bent the rules on that, but you can totally do that if you want to. I'm gonna go along, keep adding more water. It doesn't have to be clean water. It can just, mine's obviously a little bit tinted, because I'm gonna go in with a different color. It looks kind of cool how it spreads like that. It makes it way easier. You see how it just blends? It's so cool. I'm just going back with darker blue. I just don't like how light that blue is. And I'm just blending those colors a little bit more. So I'm going to just keep doing that. I'm going to get some light areas. This is just really loose painting. It's super, super easy. It's really, really fun. I don't really have a lot of paintings that I do this process with for watercolor, but it definitely is one of my favorites. So whenever I have the chance to do it, I'll do it. So while this is going on, my husband told me this weekend, we're out at my parents' and you can see all the stars where my parents live. And my husband was telling me that Orion's belt, so Orion, the star constellation, the shoulder of Orion is actually starting to disappear. So so NASA doesn't know when it's going to disappear. So they have cameras on it on all the time. But it's pretty cool. So make sure you watch for that to see when it disappears, I guess. Supernovaing, that's what it's called, the star supernovaing. Man, I'm pretty good for not having science in the last 6-7 years. But yeah, the star's supernova probably millions of years ago, so now it's actually starting to hit Earth. Pretty cool. So I'm just continuing the process of the wet process. I'm just going in with some darker colors, just creating a nice galaxy. Made sure the fingers and the hands were pretty dark since they're on the outer edge. Usually I try to do that with galaxies. The middle starts to get lighter. So right there I just used my finger. That helps blend colors a little bit better if they're just not blending or if you have too much water or not enough water. Right here I'm going through and I'm doing the tail. This is probably my favorite part of the whole thing, watching that color just drag. That's pretty cool. Satisfying. It's really fun. This process is really fun. So if you wanted to copy this to try that process, you 100% can. Or if you want to do your own galaxy on something, that's totally fine as well. Just make sure you have both lizard and night in your drawing. But you don't have to do this. If you just want to do this in pencil on lined paper, totally fine. Super, super fine. You can do it with any medium you want. It doesn't have to be watercolor. I just like watercolor. I like this process. Here, I'll probably use my... So now I'm just going around and I'm cleaning up edges of my lizard. This process creates a nice outline around the lizard as well. The color kind of goes to the edges, creates a nice ring around it. So I totally forgot to videotape while I was doing this, but what you're going to do is you're going to get an old toothbrush and you're going to put a little bit of watered down white paint on your toothbrush. And then you take your toothbrush and you flick it onto your night or your starry galaxy, just like I am. Kind of overkilled it in the middle, but it still creates a cool effect of a lot of stars in just a quick few seconds. Make sure you rinse out that toothbrush really well. I'm just using regular, just white paint. It can be acrylic paint, it can be tempera paint, it can be any white paint you have. And then I'm just using the back of a paintbrush to create bigger stars and other stars.